test back. I'm fucked. Bam, we're live.
What were you saying just now?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Just chilling.
No procedures can hurt back his little boys, JR.
Claire, hi, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Hi, you know Brian because we met through Brian.
Yep.
And JR's above you.
Familiar, not personally, but yes.
And then Caleb is down there. It's like it's like a Brady Bunch.
It is a Brady Bunch.
Let me do one thing here really quick before we get started. Normally we're a little that's not true. I was going to say normally we're a little more organized than this. But
there's no normal here.
Thank you.
I mean, would it even be related to CrossFit if it was like super organized?
Good point.
Some would hope so.
Fucking great point. I have a printer that's I have like my wife. I have a printer that's like so old, and I was trying to print out all these cool things that Brian made for the show, so that I could have them in hard copy, so I didn't have to look over there. And it's just taken for I forgot to hit. And then so I was over. That's why we're late, because I was waiting for the printer. And
that's what you're doing.
It's just so slow. It's crazy. Let me see if my wife.
Hello.
Hi, babe.
Hi.
Hey, there's some papers coming out of the printer really slow. Could you bring them in my office as they're done? There's no rush.
Yeah.
You're wonderful.
Joseph's already on it.
Oh, you're a wonderful human being. Thank you.
Oh, and so are you. You're welcome.
Okay. Say hi to Claire. She's new to the show.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Don't be rude, Haley.
Great.
Don't
How
be rude.
are you?
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, babe. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Claire, you're a CrossFitter?
I do be doing CrossFit. Yeah.
And how long have you been doing it?
Like 7 years. I think I've been watching you longer than that, but doing it for about 7.
Holy shit.
This is your seventh open? Or
Yeah.
8th? 7th?
Yeah. So I guess then it's at least that long if this is my 7th open. Yeah.
Were you like a high school or collegiate athlete just looking for something to like do, or how did it cross paths with you?
It was about the only thing gym wise to do where I'm from. And so I was in my 20s trying to not be obese. I didn't play any sports growing up.
Oh yeah, me neither. Okay, were you just a goofball growing up like me?
I mean, I was artistic. I was kind of a rebel kid.
I was artistic too. I was lots of shit. I was great at smoking weed.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But
drinking alcohol.
You didn't have any sports background. Like the thought, like you had, like when the first time you saw clean or snatch, you were like, or D-ball slam, you were like, huh? Completely confused.
I remember watching the sport in like, I don't know, I mean, Annie's early days. So it was not like 09, somewhere around there is when I first was introduced to it, and was like, just watching it thinking that's pretty cool. That's wild. But it wasn't until a handful of years later when I finally mustered the courage. I actually went into that CrossFit gym in my town 2013, scared the shit out of me. Didn't go back till 2016.
Oh, wow. And so did you keep doing it, but just kind of like closeted, like at Globo gyms or at home?
I went to a Gold's Express by myself.
And then just tried it out. Just looked at the videos and tried the shit out.
No. I had no idea what I was doing. I would like hang out on a treadmill, and then maybe I'd go over into a squat rack and not squat right. And yeah, it wasn't until I got desperate enough and went back to the CrossFit gym, and then they spent some years trying to help me figure out movement patterns, and that was a journey.
And which one was that? Which gym was your first gym?
Coda CrossFit.
Wow. Okay.
Oklahoma. Yeah, there's 6 different Coda affiliates. Shout out Bryce.
Oh, that's good. Is that home for you, Oklahoma?
I live in Austin, Texas now, but I am from Oklahoma. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
What did I just hear about Oklahoma? Something there. Is that where the open is?
Times have you ever been to the Red River shootout?
Oh, many, many times. Yeah. We don't have a lot going on, so that's a big moment for us.
What is that? Is that a bar?
No, but I would have been there too.
It's an annual college football game between University of Texas and University of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Is that where the open is? It's in Oklahoma this 23.
It's in Omaha.
I mean, it might as well be.
Oh, right. I know it was an O. I know it was some kind of O. This is Trolling the Leaderboard. This is a show, thought that Brian and I played around with back in 1987, and then our paths separated, and then earlier in the year, I'm
surprised you remember my year of birth, Sevan. Very good.
Is that really the year you were born?
It is.
and then Brian this year was like, hey dude, we should just I mean, we knew we were going to do some shows covering the Open. He's like, let's do a Trolling the Leaderboard show. And I was like, that's a cool idea. So here we are. J.R. Howell, a new friend also, not as new as you, Claire. You're really new, like minutes. Just you're still in the seedling stage, gestation maybe even. I would say that JR and I are more in the infant stage. We're about to get out of diapers.
Wow.
Yeah. And Caleb and I don't have a long friendship either, but we've like done ecstasy together. Like we've spent so much time together. We expedited our relationship. You know, with MDMA, you can do 10 years of relationship in one evening. If you use a therapeutic dose.
Should we walk down that journey or
no? We're stick to the games here. Okay. So 23.2. Do we want to I know it's kind of interesting. I know there's this tug of war here. Brian called me earlier today and is like, hey dude, I'd like to give the athletes a lot of attention. And I know there's been some hiccups here and there, but last week we spent 45 minutes on the hiccups, and I'd like to spend a little more time on the athletes than the hiccups. And I'm totally fine with that. And the main hiccup that happened in the last 24 hours is kind of like a nothing to me. Just basically the thing that happened with Sasha Neves is basically she just had
using nothing as an adjective or a noun here.
Like a nothing burger. It's a nothing burger to me. I mean, basically she just had her shit uploaded and her video was cut, like for whatever fucking reason, and she uploaded, and so people were like, hey, she's a cheater, and then everyone's like, wait a second, that's a GoPro setting that obviously she's not aware of and probably shouldn't be aware of. So well, now everyone's aware of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, that was resolved between Proven, who she's competing with this year, and CrossFit, their athlete relations team. Andrew brought some attention to it publicly, and because of that, it actually helped facilitate the solution to that problem. But from everything that I've been able to see, no foul play there at all. Just a unfortunate mistake, and yeah, hopefully everyone can learn from it, and fewer people make that mistake next time.
And then I do think that there have been several other errors that we've seen in terms of the leaderboard or posts that have gone up on CrossFit Games Instagram with the wrong reps mentioned. But we'll leave that for the end if we're desperate, and we'll just dig right in on performances if you want.
I mean, I'll just say that even in some of the stuff that we're going to talk about tonight, while we're trying to highlight the athletes, as everyone knows, it's a massive job to administer this competition. It's hundreds of thousands of people worldwide. There are dozens and dozens of divisions, but there are some, if you're looking at the leaderboard and everyone has a different interest within the leaderboard, there are still very blatantly inaccurate scores from the first week and a ton of inaccurate scores in the second week. Obviously, we hope that those will be cleaned up, but we have to give CrossFit time to adequately do that. I think so, yeah.
Well, since you've opened that window, shouldn't the scores be accurate from week one already?
I would say yes, in the case of scores that are leading their division worldwide, like that at the very least should be have taken
for
care
all
of
the
by
divisions,
now.
short stature, masters. Like, hey, get the first page correct.
Yeah, and there are a couple that are still outstanding, not correct, which is disappointing. You would think that at least they could get those things right. And one of the things I tried to do last week and will do today is to pick at least the winner or the perceived winner of every workout in every division and give them a little bit of credit or attention. But when it's, just in doing an hour of research of preparation for that, I was able to very quickly see which of the scores were most likely not valid scores. And so we'll acknowledge that when we're talking about it. And I even color coordinated them so CrossFit can copy my homework and get to work on it.
Yeah, you did an amazing job. I hope my pieces of paper, I hope all my pieces of paper come through soon. I think we should start. JR, do you want to open with anything? You look like you're hard pressed to say something.
No. I think 23.2 was definitely something that none of us really saw coming, 2A or 2B. In the movements that were chosen, and then obviously to do a max lift at the end. I think for the most part, at least I know my community had a blast with it. Most people redid it. I think some should have not. But yeah, it was. It was a fun time.
Oh, what do you mean by that? Some people. What bad could happen? What no good could happen from redoing it?
Well, in a workout as simple as 23.2a, it's really easy to say, oh, I'm just going to do my burpees a little bit faster, or I'm just going to run a little bit faster. I'm just going to run a little bit slower. But what people have to realize when they're going to redo any workout is that however much they hurt during the workout the first time, they're going to have to hurt more to get more reps. And that's a lot easier to say you're going to do than to actually do. And then in a workout that has 2 scores, you may get 4 or 5 more reps and then do 5 or 6 less pounds on the lift. And then you're stuck trying to figure out which score to take. And sometimes it's not even that big of a difference.
The answer is to take the heavier lift.
Do you, Claire, are you familiar with Andrew Hiller? He comes on the show sometimes.
Yeah, definitely familiar.
And you guys all saw, he put out that video where he's, I didn't see the video, but I've seen a lot of chatter about it. I wish I would have watched it, where he walks the shuttle runs and then recommends that to improve people's scores. And then people redid it. The 2 people I know who did it are
I redid it, Sevan.
Yeah, I know you. I saw you redid it and your score improved and moved you up like 3,000 places, according to Mike Halpin. And then Sarah Cox from California Hormones redid it, and I think it improved her by several reps. Did you see that, Claire? What do you think about that? The walking, the gaming of it.
I think it's fun. I mean, it's like athlete IQ. Like, I think it's fun. I think all these workouts have so far have just been like really cool to be able to retest without much repercussion, like on the body so far. So, I think it's entertaining. I didn't think to walk it.
That's actually a good point. You know, some of the CrossFit workouts historically, if you want to redo them, I mean, you're really going to be paying for it. These ones are pretty approachable in terms of a redo.
Absolutely.
Now we know why Claire's here. She brings up the term athlete IQ. We'll be stealing that. What do you think about that, JR? That's a great concept. Wear and tear. Like, do you agree with her that both of these are like, hey, for most athletes in their prime, this isn't one that is going to hurt you. It's not like, let me throw something out there. It's not like high rep deadlifts, right? Or heavy deadlifts where it's like, shit, you better not redo that.
Yeah, for sure. And what's ironic about that is that we're at the point now where the highest level athletes know they're going to move on to the next stage. So there's really not any reason to redo. Whereas back in the day when you had to finish top 30 or 40 to make a regional, or even in 2019 where they took automatic qualifiers from the open to the games, you may have to redo a workout that had 200 squat repetitions or 150 light hinge repetitions or 600 double unders. And you're doing that 2 and 3 times in like 72 hours. So yeah, I mean, the wear and tear now for athletes that are maybe just trying to get into that next stage of quarterfinals, you know, she's right. It's not going to beat you up as much.
Hey, and what do you think about this idea? I watch the UFC a lot, and they do talk about that fighter IQ and this idea that Claire just brought up, the Claire Bays. We should have that, the Claire Bays athlete IQ. It's true, right? I mean, those are the things that we always hear. That might be the way to describe what's the champ's name? Mr. Medeiros, Justin Medeiros' name. Like, people are always talking about, oh, he doesn't make errors. Maybe this is the term. She's finally put a concept to it. He has a high fighter IQ, high athlete IQ.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. Good job, Claire.
Yeah. I feel like mine went down this year. So
say that again. Say that again.
I said I feel like mine went down this year. My
Your IQ. Well, you just changed the vernacular. We'll see if Real Media picks it up, and if we can squeeze it in there next to Nothing Burger. Okay. What about going back? Are there any notable athletes that had to redo it, like with an upload error? Have we had any errors so far in the first 2 workouts where and did we like someone double dipped on the thruster and they had to redo it? Or do we have any issues like that we've seen so far in the first 2 weeks?
I don't think there's been anything publicly about that. I'm sure there are. I mean, I know that a lot of the top athletes, they'll do the workout early, they'll watch it back, and they'll make sure that everything is good to go, especially if they're in contention to potentially win one of the workouts, because there's a little bit of money on the line, and those will be heavily scrutinized, but nothing public, nothing problematic in that regard. There are 2 other things that I would like to just mention before we start looking at the athletes. One of them that you brought up already. I don't want to spend a ton of time on it, but I think it's good to just get it out there a little bit because it addresses a bigger issue. And last year during the Open, for the first time, the owner of the gym that I work at and I both kind of agreed that with the new standard for the burpee that was introduced, it was the first time in the history of doing the Open for us, which we've done 20 combined Opens, that we weren't really sure what the standard was, and we weren't really sure if we were following it, and it was difficult to coach it to people at the gym, and everyone was asking, is this okay? Is this okay? And I just have this echo in my mind now of Becky Harsh saying, you know what a thruster is. You know what a burpee is. And I think that it would be practical to have, especially movements that are so common like that, just have a document that comes out every September 1st and says, for the next 12 months, this is the standard. And the burpee standard is unchanged. And the thruster standard is unchanged. And the pull-up standard is unchanged. We're introducing a new movement this year, kettlebell swing. And it'll be labeled new movement, just like on the rule book. When there's something new, it's labeled there. That way, when we come to competitions like this, we don't have to spend time trying to re-educate the people in our gyms or re-educate the world about what a burpee is now. Everyone should know what that is so that we can do the workouts, we can do them well, we can have fun, and we can celebrate the community instead of focusing on all these little nuances that change overnight, and then everyone has to scramble and try to figure out how to accommodate.
Wrong. Tammy Balogun, Claire, is she the diversity ad? Some may say that is the rumor. Brian, that would be very communal. That thought you had. You know, what I like that because that wraps up the community with the sport. Like that's a nice integration between like what's going on in the affiliates and then what's going on at the CrossFit Games.
Yeah, for sure. And the other thing is that I'm sick of hearing CrossFit has a small team. We know you have a small team. So make decisions like that make it easy on your team. Don't introduce a brand new standard to a competition that has 320,000 participants. You're asking for a headache. So I think that would be a really simple thing that we could do that would alleviate a lot of these frankly unnecessary conversations and concerns when this time of year comes around.
I would also like to add this. I think what you could say we're in the Adrian Bosman era. And the Adrian Bosman era is going to be the common sense era. And whether you like that or not, and I know that has some connotation, a positive connotation on it, and some slant. And Adrian is a dear friend of mine, but he's gonna, the sandbag at the games. That was so bizarre to me that there weren't a number of limited lifts you could do on the fucking sandbag. Yeah, when you're done, you're done. That was fucking weird. But that's the Adrian Bosman era, and it's like I think what they're doing with the thruster is, hey. Was Vellner trying to cheat? No. Was Jason Grubb trying to cheat? No. So we'll let it go. I think that's the era we're in, and we can either accept it or fight it. Thoughts? Anyone? Good. My favorite kind of people to work with. Nicole Gazan. Is this a real Gazan?
I don't know, but is Nicole Gazan the athlete to watch, or was there supposed to be a name included on this message?
For an athlete to watch, 14 to 15-year-old girl scaled. She's 13, maybe a name to remember. I wonder if it is the Gazan's younger sister.
Well, Alex Gazan is doing extremely well so far in the Open this year, and if that is the case, then at least we know she has a good role model teaching her the ropes.
That is a lot of money. I appreciate it. I will spend it wisely. There will be no sugar purchased. Or no, it will not go to any woke organizations. I promise. I can promise you that. Okay.
All right. Last one before we get to the athletes, Sevan.
Please.
And we certainly, Caleb, you can pull it up if you want to. But today, finally, I was able to publish this article that I've been talking about. That is a historical study of the height of athletes relative to open performance since the inauguration of the Open in 2011.
My favorite subject. This is good.
And I just how
tall are you, Claire? How tall are you?
Between 5'7", 5'8".
How tall are you, JR?
6 foot.
Brian, you're 5'10", 5'9"?
5'10".
Okay.
And you?
I'm 5'5". I don't really know. Last time I measured, I was 5'5".
Okay.
And I think I'm in that like era in my life where I could get shorter, especially with how much weight I'm lifting these days. I'm strong like a fucking bull. It's like making me shorter.
You don't spend time on that decompression table that Mr. Spin has in his garage?
No, that thing hurts me. I hung upside down. That hurts me. I start to spin. I get vertigo. I'm at that age.
Anyway, I just wanted, there were several comments that were very similar in response to that article. We're not necessarily saying definitively one thing or another. All we're suggesting is that we have data available to us. We've been doing this now for over a decade, the Open. And this guy, Mark Baum, did the research. He was able to pull the top 2,500 athletes that completed every workout, male and female, since 2011, and do what's called a rank correlation study, charting their height versus their performance against those other 2,500 athletes. And then there's a plot chart. And if you go to the article and you're actually interested in seeing which workouts favored, it's objective. It's just factual. Which workouts go a little lower than that, Caleb, to the one that's like orange or green. So the taller lines above the bar, above the horizontal axis there, will be more favorable to the tall athletes. The lower ones are more favorable to short athletes. So on the far left, you can see that one that dips way down there. That's 12 minutes of burpees. It's the most statistically favorable to shorter demographic of athletes. If you go all the way to the right and look at the one that's really tall and high, that's 19.1. It's rowing and wall balls, and it's the antithesis. It's very favorable to taller athletes. That makes a lot of sense. When you look at, most of them are actually pretty close to the middle and pretty well balanced. None of us are saying that it's a problem to have rowing or wall balls in the open. No one's saying it's a problem to have burpees in the open or chest to bar pull-ups or thrusters or these things that commonly favor one or the other. What we're saying is if you are going to have them, that you should be conscious of the way that they impact the leaderboard. And so if you're going to have a workout like 23.2A that has burpee pull-ups with a variable height pull-up bar, then you need to know from testing and from history that that's going to be favorable in general. Now, there certainly can be some exceptions, and we'll talk about some tonight, but it's going to be generally favorable to the shorter athlete. You might say, well, it offsets by the run. But the problem with the run is that you have to turn around so often that you don't really get to stride it out that much. And every time you do, you have to bend down and touch the ground, which is also harder for the taller athletes. It's a longer range of motion to cover. So then when we first saw this workout last week, we thought, oh, well, this is actually fine. Even if it is favorable for the bodyweight athlete, the shorter athlete or whatever, we have a heavy lift to offset it. And based on this study, historically, the heavy lifts are generally favorable for the taller athletes. Mass moves mass theory. I have been thinking this weekend, and I'm certainly open to being wrong about this, but there may not be a more favorable strength movement for a shorter athlete than the thruster, because that press out at the top is everything, and every extra centimeter, inch, etc., that you have to press out a maximal load with no longer having the momentum from your lower body. I mean, you know the difference between holding a 25-pound plate here and holding it out in front of you. And if you're pressing that overhead, it's a similar example. So I think that overall, this workout in isolation is going to end up being a lot more skewed towards the shorter athletes, the combination of them, than I thought originally. And so because of that, I'm just going to wait and see what happens in 23.3 and if there was any thought to potentially counteract that.
I would love to see the calculation for this, what he means by shorter and taller and how he did that. I keep trying to think how he did that. And I can't figure it out because they're all relative to one another. When you say shorter and taller.
Yeah. And there's going to be of 2,500 athletes. I mean, we can just talk about men. We can assume that, 99% of them are going to be between 5'5" and 6'3", so there's going to be, hundreds of people at every one of those intervals. So it's not, maybe not a perfect study. Some athletes don't report their height, but it gives a general overview. And when you look more closely at the movements that are being, commonly showing up in one or the other, it's very logical.
Let me throw this out there. I would suggest that there's a point where you can become so short that it actually hurts you, that you don't actually even fit in the short category. And I would argue that like Colton Mertens is there or what's his name?
Scott Tetlow, the worldwide winner of 23.2A.
Tetlow or who's the guy? What's Ricky's brother's name? Benny Garrard.
Benny Garrard, yeah.
Yeah, I would guess that, but I would guess on the tall end, that's not true. I'd guess a 7 foot. A 7 foot tall dude would do fucking great on the row wall ball.
Do you have that video that I sent of the 6'8" guy?
Oh, is that what that is? Like I was trying to figure out that. Who is that?
Guy on Instagram messaged me, and it was like his Instagram was like 6'8" CrossFitter, and I was like, "You're 6'8"?" He's like, "Yeah." This is him standing at the highest pull-up bar in his gym before the open, before they changed the pull-up bar height for him. Look, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that is ridiculous.
And then they were able to, they of course had to take everything apart and move it up to the highest rung, and he was then able to clear it by an inch.
I'd like to see how that guy moves. 6'8", that's a lot of dude.
But if you think back to the Chaos workout at the games in 2018, they had that red strip across the North Park field, and we have an amazing visual, just coincidentally, that Fraser and Fikowski were in lanes next to each other. And Fikowski doesn't even have to jump. He just waves his hand and touches the banner. And Fraser has to do a pretty significant jump to get up there and touch it. But they're doing the burpees at basically the same rate, because just as much of an advantage as Brant has of touching that strip, Fraser can get off and up and down the ground faster because he's 6 to 8 inches shorter than him. And, it was just a thought that I had this weekend. What if they just standardized the pull-up bar height? And they said, all the men have to do a 90-inch pull-up bar height for this workout. Suddenly, all of this conversation is probably irrelevant.
And what about that box that Mertens had to get over at the games? He had to take a step back and do you remember that? That's
the thing though. By nature, there are going to be movements in CrossFit that are more favorable to taller athletes. Very few, but some. And then juxtaposed, there's going to be most movements that are more favorable to short athletes.
I guess what I'm saying is there's a point where you can become so short that you're really fucked. I guess it's true tall too. But
to Brian's point about a standardized pull-up bar height, let's come back to that for a second, because I think it's something that people miss. In the open, this was perfect for a standard, because most people have a bar or multiple bars at their gym that they always use for pull-ups. You're usually not going to pick a pull-up bar that you can stand flat-footed and grab. You're going to pick one, or you're going to have one in your garage if you have a home gym that's just out of your reach. So it was perfect. And sure, there's some instances where you may have a gym owner that will move one a little bit higher or a little bit lower for you if you're kind of an outlier. But for those that think something like this can be done in an in-person competition, I'll push back on that. Whenever they did 30 burpee ring muscle ups for time at regionals, they did not go out there and adjust rings. Remember, there are fixed heights for pull-up bars and for rings when you get to in-person competitions. If you start to adjust, just like in the open, if they would have said, hey, you can either use a 93-inch bar or you can use an 88-inch bar. If you're shorter, you just have to jump higher. If you're taller, you just get to stand up and do a half pull-up. For those of you that don't like that, that would be like me saying, here's a 15-foot rope. Brian, you only have to go to 14.8. JR, you have to go to 15 feet. Claire, you have to go to 14.2. It wouldn't make any sense. It would be just like extend your arms over your head. Brent, you have to go 11.5-foot wall ball. Colton, you get to go to 9.5. No, there are just some movements that by nature we don't mess with. They're just more favorable to different body types.
Yeah. So you're in favor of that. Just you take it the way they do it at the games. Hey, or the semifinals, weren't there two heights? You get to choose one or the other.
You have to. Yeah, because if you start adjusting one thing, you have to adjust everything. But for the open, this was saying that you just have to use one pull-up bar height if you're a male, and then one if you're a female. It's a lot easier. It's a lot harder to do that than to put two tape lines on the ground and say, hey, 55 inches is wall walks for females, 60 inches is wall walks for males. So much easier.
The owner of the CrossFit gym I go to is a giant cheat. Okay. They do. It does. Open workouts in secrecy, away from all other gym members, comes up with ridiculous scores. Oh, of course it's a dude, that he is 100% incapable of doing. And then he validates his own fake score. God, I wish this money was coming from Brazil. I so don't want this to be in the United States. This is bullshit. You guys hear any of this? You guys see any cheaters out there? Claire, you see any cheaters out there?
I think the level of integrity in the sport of CrossFit's usually high. People in this realm have a good bit more of it, but I do think that year over year, even just, I don't know, the floor plans and so on, it's kind of, I don't know that I feel like all CrossFit coaches and gym owners are maybe as strict as they maybe have been in the past with all of the standards, especially whenever things are going on with the standards, like that whole top-down effect. I don't know if I'm just feeling that and that's an inaccurate feeling, or if that's real, that some are maybe not taking it as seriously when it comes to the standards because of the lack of communication and stuff.
I think there's a difference though between not taking it seriously and cheating. Like that year that they had some crazy handstand push-up thing on the wall and you had to find the height. I just ignored that. I was like, hey, look, if my elbows are I'm not trying to cheat. If my elbows are locked out, I'm giving myself the fucking rep. Heels against the wall, that's enough for me. There becomes a point, right? You think there's cheating, a lot of cheating, Brian?
I mean, yeah, there are people out there that will look for every edge and every shortcut, and that's the argument in favor of CrossFit with all the standards and nuances that they write in there, is that they're trying to account for that, and it is sad that they have to.
For Sevan's elbow surgery after all those 70-pound dumbbell snatches, Jeremy World, thank you. My shoulder feels great. Stephen Denbraver, $1.99. I appreciate that. I will send that right over to Brian. Olsen dudes. Oh, good to see you, brother. A little dinero for Sevan tossing that 70-pound dumbbell around like a boss. Yeah, it was like my trabajo. Like my trabajo.
All right. You want to start with the
no, hold on. I want to see if I got any more money. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Nope. Shoot. Darn it. Okay.
You're out?
I'm out. I'm out of money. I was going to do women adaptive. Are you cool with that?
Love it.
Okay. Women adaptive, Mr. Beaver.
So basically, I tried to do this last week. We ran a little bit out of time, but I wanted to try to congregate or aggregate all of the best performances from every division. And there's a lot of divisions. Here, there's only 2 colors on the screen. The black ones are scores that I think are definitely valid. The red ones are scores that I'm not sure if they're valid or not. And I would encourage whoever's doing the review process there to check them out. But either way, as it stands on the leaderboard when I did this 4 or 5 hours ago, these are the best performances by all the adaptive women in each division.
What is intellectual? You don't know the difference between equality and equity, and then you get to go in the intellectual division? Is that really a division? They call it that, intellectual?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's interesting. All right. Any standouts here? Anyone you want to specifically like? I
mean, I don't. I was kind of pressed for time, so I didn't get a chance to put all their scores in here as well. But I don't recognize a lot of the names. Valerie Cohen obviously was the champion at the games last year in lower extremity division. She's one of the, I would say, premier and dominant adaptive athletes in the sport right now. But this is a area of the community that is growing, that there's been some more and more conversation about. And I hope to learn more about these athletes in the next couple of years.
Yeah, and I just want to give some love to a member and a coach of mine, Noelle Henderson. She is currently 2nd in the world in the multi-extremity female. So fingers crossed she finishes another good week next week and she's going to the games.
Yeah,
multi-extremity meaning what? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Claire.
No, I just said go Noelle.
Yeah. What does that mean? Multiple extremity, like missing a hand and a foot?
No, it could be like neuromuscular, like she's got CP.
Okay. Oh, gotcha. Okay. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at Valerie's Cohen's. Oh, lower extremity. Okay. I was like, hey, she got both her arms. Okay. So she got something wrong with her right leg. Yeah, I don't know why. It's kind of weird, but I'm starting to get. I think the adaptive class is kind of cool.
It's really cool. It's cool that there's an opportunity for those athletes to compete, and anyone who's ever seen them actually compete in live competition. I mean, it is extremely impressive.
Yeah, there's like a juggling aspect to it, right? Like seeing someone juggle like 6 balls. Like you're seeing them do something, and you're trying to imagine yourself doing it, the stuff that they do with one leg or one arm, and you can't. It's pretty cool. All right, any other games champs in here?
Not sure. And to Cody Birch's question, yes. Like the ones that I've highlighted as red, that means one of 2 things. Either their score is like 50 reps greater or 30 pounds heavier than the next rep, and I'm talking like 130-pound lift compared to 100, or they might, they're not really ranked, like they're ranked like close to last in their division, but have this one score that's a clear outlier relative to the other. They certainly could be legitimate scores. I would just say those are the ones that if I was on the review team for CrossFit, that I would begin with asking for those videos to make sure that those are actually legitimate. And I hope obviously that they are.
Hey, Patrick, I am seeing this, that Valerie was a collegiate gymnast. Did she injure her leg in gymnastics? That's wouldn't be surprising, right? That's a tough sport. I'm trying to scroll down here.
Were you asking Patrick? Were you hoping he would reply?
I saw him in the comments. Yeah, maybe he'll reply. Should just have him on the show. Okay, women's adaptive. Okay, we will try to do a little more thorough next week. It's my fault. I should have pulled up a bunch of these Instagrams ahead of time. Oh, it's yes. Oh shit. So she did. Okay, she did injure her leg. She was able-bodied, and then she fucked her leg up doing gymnastics in here. And now we get her at CrossFit. It's awesome. All right, cool.
That is a cool story.
I've always said it's where professional athletes go to die. Men adaptive. I recognize Kevin Ogar's name. Casey Acree. We had him on the show.
Yeah, so a couple of guys here, Casey Acree and Tom Miazga, that are, they're the class of their divisions by far at this point. Kevin's Ogar's name is in purple because he's actually second place on that workout in his division. The purple ones are the ones where I'm 100% sure the score ahead of them is not legitimate.
Okay. And why would it be in there? It's just an error, just a fat thumb?
Yeah, I mean, there's basically two reasons that you're going to see inaccurate scores at the top of the open leaderboard in any division. One is because someone made a mistake in the way that they entered their score or a keyboard entry, like you said. Two is that they're intentionally trying to get to the top of the leaderboard, take a screenshot, and show all their friends, hey, I was the best in the world at this thing, which sucks, but it happens.
Sevan has a performance-enhancing nose. It's got to be like some racist or ethnic like discrimination there or something. There's something. And no issues, even though Kevin Ogar works at CrossFit, no issues with him. Can he go to the games? Can he compete at the games even though he's an insider?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, they don't get any rules against that. Okay. And Casey Acree, games winner last year.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing if I recognize anyone else. Oh, and this guy, Mike, in the short stature, Mike Widowus. I see him all over Instagram. He's the swoosh guy, right? Whoosh,
I think so,
swoosh.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right. I wonder if has this grown? Has the adaptive division grown? Is it growing?
Halpin has data on that. He did send it to us the other day.
Let me ask you this: are there any divisions that aren't growing? Are there divisions, or are there any divisions that are shrinking?
He sent us that the other day too. I can't remember exactly what he said.
Okay,
but
we should just do a show. Bad shit happening in CrossFit. Cody Birch, Sevan loves the short stature division ever since he found out about it last week. That's great. I would give them total. I would give them total center stage. There's some other classes I would put in there too that don't exist. We'll talk about them off the air. I try to be on my best behavior. Okay, Brian, right at the top here is unimpressive performances. Should we just dig into that?
You can.
Do you regret using that as a title for you're okay with it?
I mean,
when you heard it say out loud, you're not like, God, that's kind of mean. Or is it a compliment? Are you like, yo, fuck, I expected better from you?
No, I mean, we clarified last week that these are all relative, first of all. And second of all, there is completely the possibility that something is going on there that makes their score or their performance justifiable. Just from the level of expectation that I personally have for certain athletes when I'm scrolling through the leaderboard, there's scores that stand out that weren't as good as I thought that they would be or that I'd hoped that they would be. And these are not necessarily when we get to the impressive, they're not necessarily the best ones on the leaderboard either. They're just the ones that stood out to me.
When he said clarified, did you think he was going to talk to you, Claire?
What's good? No, I don't think so. I don't know.
I did. Casey Acree has won 7 of the 10 open workouts, has competed in the last 3 years. I'm going to predict we haven't had any adaptive athletes in the open this year, like for the open events, right? For 20. We have not.
No.
Okay, so you can expect to see a handful of adaptive athletes. I think it will be the short stature. This is a breaking news. 23.3 will have a parade of short stature athletes performing for you.
Are you going?
I am going. Yes.
To perform?
I'm going to be standing over.
Bring your dumbbell.
Hey, you get off your tippy toes. There's no way you're taller than me. Get off your tippy toes. Unimpressive performances. Oh my goodness, Brian. Oh my goodness. For some people, it's kind of a compliment. You get Annika Greer here. She's never been to the games, and it's like, okay. Sorry for the women.
Well, there's okay, fine.
23.2A. You okay with this?
Yeah.
Okay. You got Annika Greer on here, and it's like, yeah, you never been to the games, and Brian's talking about you. Kind of cool. Yeah, okay. We expect more from you. But fucking Laura Horvat?
Yeah, I mean, that's the same score that I got.
Damn. That hurts. JR, anything is Brian? Oh, let me go to Claire first. Claire, is Brian being too harsh? Are there any names on here? And you're like, come on, Brian.
I mean, unimpressive. I guess I'm looking at the names to see if I actually feel that way.
Sorry, we didn't give these to you in advance. Sorry.
No. I got them.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Madeline Sturt. I mean, was this a short person's workout?
I'm hoping Mark will be able to do this actual study and give us the real data on that, but it seems that way.
Claire, short person workout.
Based on what he has said, I'm gonna go ahead and I think Brian does a lot more studying of these things than I do, so I'm gonna just jump in the boat there.
Then why JR's Madeline Sturt have such a bad score?
Well, we can talk about a lot of things like maybe some of these athletes have some injuries, and that's probably more of a reason for 23.2B. But you never know. I mean, a lot of them are just now starting to ramp up their training. So let's say that after last week, we had a lot of hanging reps. So we had muscle ups, we had toes to bar, and a lot of people got back to toes to bar. Most people, including us, when predicting 23.2, no one that I heard said that they thought we would be hanging again and doing any kind of pulling. So what if on Wednesday or Thursday, some of these athletes did tons of high volume pressing, high volume pulling. Maybe they did a lot of barbell cycling and just the bending over back and forth over and over again. We heard a lot of people say that there was some lower back fatigue kind of sneaky built into that shoulder run burpee workout with all the hinging. And they just went to do the workout. They're not going to change their training schedule. Hey, I'm supposed to do it Friday morning. My low back's a little bit tight. My biceps are blown up from all the rope climbs I did on Wednesday because I didn't think we'd be pulling again. And they just weren't able to get a score that they're capable of. That's very possible for a lot of these people.
Gotcha. Who's this? Afa
Burke.
Afa Burke. Who's that?
So you basically
have
a mix of athletes on this list. Some of them that you recognize because they've been to the games, and you would just think that pretty much regardless of what the workout is, that they wouldn't be finishing outside of the top 100 or a top 500 in the world. And all of these are that. Some of them are athletes that I specifically am looking at this year as having a chance to make the games. So Gabby McClelland, Afa Burke, Kerstetter, Annika, Taylor Howell, that have not made the games before, that I'm looking to see if they've improved in some of the areas that they may need to if they want to make that next step. And this is just an example of a workout where they're not doing great compared to what I would hope for someone who's trending towards making their first CrossFit games.
Okay, fair enough. Kerstetter, how is she doing compared to? Does she have to do two?
No, because the standards for the 16 and 17-year-old division is exactly the same as the elite division.
Okay, so Brian read my mind there. How is she? Is she beating all the teenagers?
Either her or Trista Smith. They're pretty much running away with it.
Okay, and we still don't know whether Kerstetter is going to go big girl or little girl.
Correct. I mean, we know what she said, but she doesn't have to make that decision yet.
What did she say?
That she was going to try to compete in the elite division this year.
No shit. Okay.
At least that's what I think. If I'm wrong about that, I apologize.
Alrighty. Anyone here that you're concerned about that you're like, the red flag?
In the long run, probably not.
Okay, so there is someone. Anyone you're concerned about, Claire? Any rumors you're hearing? Laura Horvat, she injured?
No, I mean, I think that what if all these athletes also just tested this one time and didn't get the feedback of like, hey, slow down on your run, whatever. And I don't know if they just did it one time and moved along, like maybe they didn't have the feedback of the things that would have helped them get significantly better scores is what it sounded like. But I think and adore her. But last week, did Brian, I thought you had said that you thought Sarah Sigmundsdottir was going to have like a really good year, right? Was I wrong on that? And so how do you feel about this week for her?
Oh, I didn't.
She's not on this list. That's good. Why? Did she shit the bed?
She's 235th in the world right now, 363rd on A and 1808th on B.
Wow.
Claire's prepared.
Wow. 1800th.
I just went searching. I was just curious because I remember you saying you thought she was going to do well this year. And of course, who doesn't hope for that? She's amazing.
Right.
So I just didn't
In the case of Sarah Sigmundsdottir, I actually love seeing her not lift heavy in the open. I say save your heavy lifts for as infrequently as you need to do them.
What do you mean? You don't want to see her hurt herself?
Yeah.
But she should be good at that, right? I mean, the strength is her, is sort of in her wheelhouse.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I obviously have no idea, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they just said, "That's good enough. Let's move on."
Mm-hmm.
And for me, what stands out is the first workout. The running and burpees workout. I'm not surprised that a lot of women in the world can beat her in that. And lifting, I'd be happier to see her do a 176 here than a 226. And who knows what's going to happen then.
Claire, did you say she's 235th in Part A, or that's her overall ranking right now? Okay, overall.
Yeah. I think she came out with a 15th on the first workout, and then went 363rd on A and 1808. I guess you've got it literally right there. Yeah. But so someone said that she did it beside Annie. Are Annie and Katrin working out together right now too?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think so.
That would be weird since Katrin's pressing for the whole I live in the United States thing, right?
I mean,
they have such similar scores.
Oh, who, Annie and Katrin?
Mm-hmm.
What are they?
I think that Annie's 67th worldwide and Katrin's 80th. I think they lifted, let's see here. I don't want to say it wrong. 187.
It's okay. Everyone says it's just a nothing word.
I think they had really similar, like, just workout. I think I looked at their scores across the board and they had like similar ones across the board. So I don't know if they were hanging out side by side.
No, I haven't seen any of footage of Katrin working out. Have you guys?
Very infrequently recently.
Not this open.
I haven't seen any of her open. Could we check out Katrin's Instagram, Mr. Beaver? That totally off subject. I just saw it here. That show I did with Brian Shantosh was my 800th show. That's pretty crazy.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Glad you didn't stop at 500.
Thank you.
Or actually, no, wasn't it 365? Wasn't it at first? It was just one every day for a year, and then you're going to stop.
Just lost in the quicksand now. I don't even know. I think it was 500. Oh, okay. Let's see her 1.7 million followers. Okay, let's look at her most recent post. Let's see. Oh, she looks lean and mean. Let me see this most recent one. Is this?
There's nothing from the open here.
There isn't. Okay.
No.
It's a day ago. She's doing some rope climbs. Do you recognize that gym? Do we know where that is?
I think she's in Idaho, where she lives.
That log cabin look. All right. Okay, unimpressive women. And Laura Horvat. Well, let's go back to Madeline Sturt real quick. Madeline Sturt out of Australia. Nothing to be concerned about. No rumors, because this is her year, right? With Tia and Carragon, we're going to get Madeline back in the United States.
Not. I mean, it's not going to be easy. And there's another woman that I'll bring up, I think, on the impressive performances list that will be a potentially problem for her. Ellie Turner's competing there. Jamie Simmons is competing there. You may think that Maddie Sturt is the next favorite of the women to make it, but there will be some others in the mix. It's not a shoo-in at all. And of course, they could earn another spot.
I think that you're out of your lane. I think that's a Mike Halpin's. We need Mike Halpin to tell us that. Brian, are you suggesting that Jamie Simmons is a better CrossFitter than Madeline Sturt?
Yeah.
Okay, I disagree with you. Claire, would you like to weigh in?
Nope.
Okay. JR, would you like to weigh in?
Yeah, I agree with Brian.
Oh, fuck you guys. Okay.
Should we just stick with the same workout? Go through all of A?
Okay, yeah. 23A. So should we go to impressive women?
Sure.
Balance out the negativity with the.
But especially because this is probably my favorite one of all the ones that I made today.
Okay, impressive performances, 23.2A, and they're in the order.
So I included their age for this one because this is just insane to me, and I highlighted two sets of women there that had the exact same score. If you don't know who Pamela Gagnon is, she's one of the best
Mhm.
gymnastics coaches in CrossFit. She works for Mayhem now. And she's a great follow on Instagram, especially for pretty much anyone. She's
A
49
great
years
follow.
old.
I want to second that. She is a great follow on Instagram.
And if you go to YouTube to watch any demo videos, if it's not Julie Fouché and James Hobart, it's probably her.
Yeah. Okay. Go on. Sorry, Brian.
She's 49 years old. I got 169 reps on this workout. Just to put it in comparison, when I say that previous slide was unimpressive performances, every single one of those women, including the best one on that list, Bailey Rail, was still 11 reps behind her, which is over a minute of work at this stage in the workout, 45 seconds to a minute of work at least. There's also the girl that I said earlier, Trista Smith, 17 years old, 32 years age gap, getting the exact same score. And when I saw this today, I was just blown away by it.
Are you sure you have her name spelled right?
I think so. It's French.
Oh, I have it spelled wrong, of course. How dare I? How dare I? See if we can get, I'm looking for her Instagram.
Anyway, while you're doing that, there's a variety of names on this list. Also, you see Jen Ryan, Masters age, 43 years old, and Kendall Gilmore, 16-year-old girl, getting this exact same score. And I thought, particularly in the women, it was just kind of awesome and cool that this huge variety of age women were able to all put up relatively similar performances.
Hey, so there's two girls right there that beat Olivia Kerstetter. Olivia had a 151.
Right. Yeah.
So there's Trista and Kendall both in her division. If she decides
Olivia
to go.
smashed them on the lift though. So and it's like, knowing those athletes, it's not surprising that they would outperform her on this workout and that she would outperform them on that workout. And so in this small case study of just those three athletes, or even one of these against Olivia, what I had thought originally about this workout is that the ones that do well on part A will likely do not as well on part B, and vice versa. And then the elite that will do great on both.
Hey, isn't that amazing that a 16-year-old girl could beat Laura Horvat at this?
By 22 reps. But this is what I'm saying about this workout. Sevan, there's a guy at my gym that I coach.
Mm-hmm.
He's like 3,000th in the world or something like that. He got 1 rep different than Jason Hopper on this workout. Jason Hopper is one of the 10 fittest guys in the world. It's just a weird workout.
Claire, you agree?
I think we got a lot of differences from A and B.
Are we? Do we see? So it's funny because you kind of answered the question I was going to ask. Are we going to see the same thing with the men? Do we see 16-year-old boys beating? No. Women are a different.
No, but
breed.
we never really have. I mean,
right. Okay.
It's a stark difference between the men's and women's field.
Another great by the Fergie show. Teens dominate most Olympic sports.
Teen girls, he said.
What did I say? Oh, yeah,
just
girls.
teens.
Katie Gannon, Sevan, you're a great host. Oh, thank you. Very, very kind of you. JR, that was funny as shit.
I would just like to say that score by Caitlin Van Zyl was one of the most impressive that I saw this entire week. I mentioned earlier, there were a few outliers in terms of bigger athletes that did well on this workout, and she's one of them that definitely stood out to me. So extremely well done there.
How do I know her? Where we saw her somewhere recently? We were covering her. I kept calling her Van Zyl. Was that Wadapalooza? Who is she? Was she on a team?
Yeah, she was on Sarah's team. It was supposed to be Emily Rolfe. Ended up being Victoria Campos competing with them, and she will be one of the women that's in contention for a game spot in Oceania this year.
Okay. Oh, yeah. There she is. All right. I can't remember if it's her. I get her confused with one of the girls. That chick has a kid?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. Oh, why Emma Tall, that's the girl, she was on the show, the Last Chance qualifier girl?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is she going to the games this year?
I would say she's assuming that Europe's going to get 9 to 12 spots for the women. Yeah, I think she's a good bet to get one of those spots. Especially when I see something like this. Like I just wouldn't. This isn't a workout that I would think Emma Tall for. So when I see someone that I'm saying running, I don't know, getting off the ground fast, burpees, pull-ups, but she did well in this workout. That is like the contrary to like the women that I'm looking at. Maybe they'll make it to the games. I see them not do great on this workout. Seeing her do well in this workout gives me even more confidence for her season.
She's big, right?
She's strong. I mean, she's I want to say she's big, but
I mean, but relative to the field,
her
she's
quads
taller
are
and
probably
heavier.
twice as big as mine.
Right. And how about Jen Ryan and Pamela Gagnon? Are they what?
Gagnon.
Gagnon. Yeah, that's what I said. How about Jen Ryan and Pamela Gagnon? Do they go to the games? Are these games athletes?
I don't think Pamela will even try to go to the games, and being the last age eligible in her division, it's going to be very difficult anyway. It's really, really rare that happens, especially with only 10 athletes in the field. Jen Ryan has been to the games many times before on teams as masters. I think it would still be hard for her to make it this year, but she'll probably try.
Okay. Amy Morton, is she masters? She been to the games?
Yeah.
First year,
good.
I think. Right.
I think she's like in contention for podium at the games in that division this year.
Wow. Okay. Amy Morton. Wait. Oh, there she is. Okay. Let me take a look at her. Oh, she's fucking private.
Let's go to the men for this
fine.
workout. Part A.
You know how I know the barbell spin follows her? That's how I know it must be her. Oh, CrossFit athlete. That's always weird when the athletes are private, right? So I'm gonna try to follow her. I always think it's a little creepy to hit follow on someone you don't know. Can we do unimpressive, or is it too late?
You're the boss.
Let's do unimpressive then. Let me see, where's my very well prepared unimpressive.
Oh, it's actually mislabeled, Caleb. I didn't get it correct. It's the one that starts with oh no, wait, where is it? That's it. 23A.
Oh yeah,
that is it. My bad.
I remember seeing Guy on there and tripping. Guy Malheiros, Moritz Feibig, Fabian Benito, Patrick Vellner with the asterisk mark.
That just means that he did it at the live announcement.
Philip Muscarella, Spencer Panchik, second week in a row. Oh, we should have that too. People who just are repeat offenders. Augustine Raquelme and Jake Berman, another repeat offender. Jake and Spencer staying on the ass list.
Yeah, and I misspelled Guy's name. I think that's bothering me. Anyway, okay. We talked about the fact that it seems like a lot of athletes of this caliber should be doing better on this workout. There's I can't really think of a reason why some of these guys would be doing this poorly on this workout. When the men's division, you're talking about, these scores are like well outside the top 500. Some of them are outside the thousands on this workout. I mean, and I know that there are a lot of people that will not be nearly as fit as them that can do well on this workout, but I would expect that these types of athletes that are contending for the games could at the very least get 165 to 170 reps.
JR, you agree with that?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, like in the case of Spencer Panchik, if you go and look at his scores, I mean, I would say 296, he should be on the impressive list for the lift, because although he is really strong overhead and all the Panchik guys are strong, I wouldn't expect him to be up around 300 pounds on the second part. So maybe he just went through a pretty big strength cycle. Maybe he's just getting back to a lot of monostructural conditioning or just simple body weight stuff as the season ramps back up. And his focus going into this was, hey, I'm just going to keep a good pace, and I really want to see what I can hit under fatigue, because lifting under fatigue is something that I want to get better at.
I don't want to break your heart, but he is not on the impressive list for part B either. Sorry. And any standouts here, Claire, for you? And are you shocked by seeing any of these names on here? Are you looking at Guy and you're like, "Ooh, man, why 155, Guy?"
Not necessarily. I mean, he's a pretty big dude, right?
He's carrying a lot of muscle. He's he's a big boy. So, I mean, like, if this is favoring a smaller guy, then this is not favoring him. So, I mean, mind you, I think on this one, his was like 5,384th. So that's like down there, but 5,384.
I believe on this workout. Yeah.
I wonder if that's the worst for any games athlete who was at the games last year. God dang. What about Pat Vellner? Do you think the that we're seeing a waning Pat Vellner, Claire?
I'm curious. I don't think I have any sort of opinion other than that, like, we went. I don't know. I hope not, because who wants that? But
Right. But you have an eye on him.
yeah.
You ever like looking over there and being like, Pat, you okay? Like just like, you okay, Pat?
Yeah, you good, bro?
Yeah, you good? JR, is it time? What's going on with Patrick Vellner? You good?
No, not at all. I don't think so. I think some of it's just a product of hearing the workout first, having to perform it, probably with the most harsh and most critical judging standards of anyone that probably did it. Being a really, really long-armed athlete, and we've already talked about that, but there's a picture I saw of him and Roman in a freeze frame, and Pat is actually off the ground higher up than Roman, and he's shorter. And he's got a shorter pull-up bar. That doesn't make any sense. So it just shows you how long comparatively like his arms are to have to use a pull-up bar like that.
This is all music to Brian's ears.
Yeah, I like it.
Lucky Camera Straps, Australia, $10. What do you guys think of the score balance between Part A and Part B? In general, are the average males much stronger than they are fit, or vice versa? Whew, that's a big question. There are more games athletes at the top of A than B. That's normal for strength stuff, though, right? Don't we see a bunch of like specialists usually come in?
Yeah, and especially because there was no gate to Part B. You could just log a rep and then just whatever you want for the rest of the time and go do a big lift. So as long as you could do one burpee pull up, you're good to go.
Did we see anyone game it like that?
Not quite that egregiously, but some of the stronger lifts have pretty low scores on Part A.
Do they pay out a prize for each? For Part A, there's a $2,023 prize, and for Part B, there's a $2,023 prize.
Yeah, and Snorri made a post about this today because one of his athletes, Kelsey Keel, had the second best lift in the world. They posted her score about 5 hours shy of the competition deadline, thinking it would be good enough to win. She's never won a worldwide open workout before, and a woman who has done the open a few times in the past. I think this is her fourth year doing it. She's notoriously great at strength, notably good at strength. She's very strong. Did a much not that impressive workout A, and then outlifted her by I think 4 pounds or something like that to win the workout.
Oh shit! So she waited.
Either that or she redid it after seeing that.
That's awesome. Right?
Anyway, but do you this is a question for CrossFit. Like, do you want to reward that? Do you there's only 4 workouts probably. It's only 4 men and 4 women worldwide that are going to win that money. Do you want someone who sandbags the buy-in to that heavy lift to be eligible to win that money? And in some cases we've seen, never mind. I'll just stop there.
Well, do you think it's outside the spirit of the games, or you think that something technically should be fixed?
I think it's a question that I wonder if CrossFit asked that question of themselves before coming up with the rules here and the eligibility for winning that prize money. And if they didn't ask it, I'd like to know why they didn't ask it. And if they did ask it, I'd like to know what the reason was for not having at least some kind of gate to being eligible to win the prize money. There is if you don't have a video, you can't win it. The guy who won 19.1 was like a 6'7" guy from Norway, but he didn't have a video, so he was ineligible to win the prize money. That's the only criteria that I know of in the case like this.
Did that same thing happen in the dudes? Is there some freak Russian that won?
No, it was the guy. Is the Wall Street weightlifter.
Oh, he did win it.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Hey, is there drug testing but then there's no drug testing for the open either.
Well, there's the what is the list called that people are on, and I think that at any point if you register to compete, they can ask you they say you have to take a drug test. Yeah, 375 pounds, no doubt about it.
He did that easy.
The kick at the end gets me. Yeah.
Unreal.
It's the kick for me.
Just from a programming standpoint, a lot of people will push back and say, well, this is how you fix that. You give everyone a 20-minute window and you give them an amount of reps they have to do for time. And whatever time they have left in the 20-minute window, they get to lift. So if you're not fit enough to at least complete a certain amount of work in the window, you don't get to show how strong you are. Well, there are a lot of people in the community that, I mean, how few reps are you going to give? Are you going to give 120? Are you going to give 130? So some people do a 6-minute workout, and some people have 14 minutes of lift, and then some people have an 18-minute workout and just have time for one lift. So that's difficult. But we have seen in the past, right? 15.1, 15.1A, 18.2, 18.2A. I guess you could still say, right, 21.3, and is it 21.4, Brian? That was actually 0.4, not 3A. Mm-hmm. And then this year, whenever there's any kind of a max lift, it's really just going to flip the leaderboard. And that goes from like the worldwide leaderboard to masters leaderboards, everything.
You won't find JR on the leaderboards anymore, is what he's trying to say.
That being said, the thruster is a pretty good one. I'm reading into it, but Brian says if there is a workout that's good for the shorter athletes, a strength movement, it is the thruster. So that does make it a bit of an equalizer, doesn't it?
Oh, you mean instead of just saying that the lift is always better for the bigger, heavier, taller athlete?
Right. Or yeah, maybe it's some sort of equalizer. I'm thinking maybe I'm not thinking clearly on it. As opposed,
do you have a thought there, Claire?
About the lift?
I don't know. Do you look like you're curious?
I'm just intaking the information, thinking about it.
Oh, here we go. This fucking guy. I'm changing my fucking number. Hi. Nice to hear from you, Justin.
No.
Justin, hi.
I have a prediction. I think that Adrian's going to do.
Sorry, Claire. I forgot to tell you there's 5 of us on the show. I forgot to tell you about Justin. Justin, you're an hour and 6 minutes late, buddy.
I know. I was coaching.
All right. Go ahead.
I think there'll be a single modality gymnastic test for 23.B. I think Adrian's seen the disproportionate strength testing happen before. And I think the writing's on the wall from what we saw in the games that he thinks we should be prioritizing gymnastics. And I think for the first time, we'll have two parts.
I agree. There will be two parts. I agree. This is fucking so obvious. I agree. Yes. Thank you.
All right.
I agree.
Sorry for calling.
Yeah. You apology not accepted. Okay.
Oh, that was a way better call than yesterday.
Mark Kramer, Australia, $2. The team keeps getting bigger and better. We'll see. It's a little early in the show.
One simple thing that they could do is we'll just take this exact workout. You could just say, if you don't finish the 25 burpee pull-ups, you're not eligible to win the prize money. It's like only applies to the first place person worldwide. If you haven't at least done that much work, and I'm just picking a number, but that's one thing that they could do to at least prevent someone like that from doing one rep and then taking the $2,000.
I don't know. I kind of like it. Do you guys are you okay with just some fucking juiced up Russian coming in and just taking the money? Sorry for being so ethnic. We can pick any ethnicity. Claire, sorry, I'm looking up at you and you don't even know that I'm talking to you. Claire, are you okay with someone just coming in and taking the money, doing 5 reps and lifting heavy and taking the money?
Yeah, I think grand scheme of things, I'm just not that concerned with that detail, but there's just
get the money. Come
to think about.
We welcome you into the community, even if you have fucking low morality and low values. You're welcome. We'll fix you. JR, do you have a problem with someone coming in, doing 5 reps and then warming up and like we know the Wall Street weightlifter can do a 405, right? We know he can do a 405 thruster.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it in his training videos. I don't know. I mean, I think for everyone out there that's saying it doesn't matter anymore, they're not qualifying people to higher stages. It does matter if 1,000 people do that to those people that have thrusters that are getting knocked down 1,000 more spots and then they don't meet their goal of competing in quarterfinals that year.
Oh, well, shit. That's true. That sucks, actually. Okay.
For the sake of qualification, not for the sake of the prize money.
Yeah. Like, I don't care. Come in and get the prize money. But for the qualification, that kind of hurts a little bit.
For sure.
Gabby Parrish, a good contribution. If it's true, we will find out here in a minute.
I don't think that most of those scores are actually valid.
Only 6 men in the entire world beat Matt Fraser O'Brien in 23.2A. That's the most impressive. That's most impressive, noteworthy. I think is that true?
Yeah, I don't think it's 6 either.
Hey, So 23, that's a fucking, I didn't even think about that. Are you 23.2 in A is the same for dudes and chicks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that is great. What a great data point. How come we're not just drilling that? Oh, my God.
It's
You
not that
dropped the
much
ball,
different
Gabby.
than,
You schooled us. You're on the next show.
it's like Gary Pierce winning Mary.
Yeah. I guess we had talked about that a little bit last week. We were wondering if
It's
any.
the second week in a row, right? It's the second week in a row. The workout's been the same for males and females.
What was the first one? I forget already.
The chipper, but there wasn't.
right.
There weren't less cows and there weren't less muscle ups or anything like that.
Can we see that? Can we see what? Can you validate that, Caleb? Can we see the leaderboard?
There's still a few names on the men's leaderboard that are above this that I've never heard of them before, and they're
So her
Mal-
is 188,
Okay.
and then
they have been pulling names off the leaderboard, so they're working on it.
Oh shit! Wow.
They're only 5 ahead of her in the men's leaderboard.
So she ties with. I don't recognize any.
No. We know Scott Tetlow.
Right. That's it.
We know Charles Curran from last
don't.
year, that open
Yeah,
guy.
that's the guy from Mayhem.
Oh no shit! That's the guy.
But click on his name. He's not at Mayhem anymore. Look where he's training now.
Yeah, Rich kicked him the fuck out. Oh my God. Holy shit. He went to Krypton. Claire, do you know what we're talking about?
The facilities and who is a part of them? Yes.
Or no, just that this guy, Charles Curran, so he won the first 2 open workouts, I think like worldwide last year, or he did better than Rich, and he was training out of Mayhem and no one knew who he was. He was just some dude there taking classes. And we were kind of using him as the litmus test that it was a bad open because some random dude at Mayhem was winning the open. And now
so maybe it wasn't because he's going somewhere else and doing it again.
Yeah, now he's over at Krypton. Okay.
I have not heard of Diego. Victor Lungdahl was like 5th place in the open worldwide last year. So he's shown some capacity in these style of tests.
Yeah, I think he won 22.1.
And then the guy immediately below him is another person I have not heard of previously from Mexico.
How about there's a guy down there, a guy named ESPN Dale. Espen Dale.
The second E is critical to the.
Yeah, whatever. Don't ruin my story. And then Ricky Garrett is doing pretty good.
Ricky Garrard is doing
Yeah.
great. Top.
He's killing it.
He's got a 7th place and a 9th place on the Metcons. His lift is not bad, but it's punished heavily with the 600 place or whatever it is.
I hope that guy in 2nd place is a real dude, Lucas Pinnock. Oh, this is good. Okay, so Mal. So okay, Gabby. So Mal is just an absolute savage, and she's all. Well, we'll get to her, right? We'll get to her. Mal, you fucking up. Gabby, you're fucking up the show. Steven Denbraver, 499, 23.1 was more indicative of elite fitness than this workout. I think we talked about that last week. People, you really liked that one, right, JR and Brian? You guys were like, fuck, that's the one. And Vellner was 2nd in the world. Strong point.
Overall, I would say, like, when we're showing these unimpressive performances from this week, don't weigh too heavily into them. I would be more concerned if there was someone that did like surprisingly poorly last week than this week.
Okay, so that validates Steven's
honestly,
comment.
in my opinion, this workout, the combination of these 2 workouts, is better suited for a small field of athletes, not for 100,000 people in a division.
Bruce Wayne, I want to thank you for all the thumbnails and for the last minute update, getting Claire in the thumbnail. That was good. And I appreciate you making her just a little bit smaller than me. Nice touch. Just a little bit.
Who was that? Shout out. Thanks.
Bruce Wayne. Yeah. Thank you from Claire also.
Thank you, Bruce.
Okay. Unimpressive. Anyone else on here we want to talk about? Spencer Panchik. Anyone you're worried about? Any injuries? Is Jake Berman, it was last year his only hope to go to the games? Is he just a training partner now?
No, he's ramping back up. I think
He is?
I think he'll be ready to go in a couple.
If he's good, I'd like to get him on the show. He's never been on the show, right? He might be cool.
He is cool. He was on once with Noah. I think they were just in the car. But
yeah, I remember that. But we never got to like just hang.
Yeah, he's got a cool story.
He does have a cool story, both inside and outside of CrossFit or fitness realm.
He sounds more like he's going to end up being on the demo team if he doesn't get his shit together.
That's the motivation they need. They just need to hear you talk some shit.
You're going to be on the demo team.
There's your first clip for this show, Sevan.
Thank you.
At
Okay.
Jake Merwin, you're going to be on the demo team. By the way, come on my podcast.
Yes. Get your shit together. Okay, let's go over to impressive males. 23.2. Oh shit, we have so much to do. We better stop dilly-dallying. Oh shit, we forgot the kids divisions.
Oh.
We're going over to impressive performances 23.2A. Oh, I thought maybe a pan chick got on there. Nope. Okay.
We just talked about most of these guys, and the ones that we haven't talked about. Dallin Pepper stands out to me here for a man of his size. Phenomenal performance on this workout, and we know that for years now he's been working on his running and his cardio and his endurance, and seems to be paying off, at least in this workout. This is the type of performance that I'll take note of, because I'll be looking next year to see, or at the games later this year, to see if he can make an improvement from 18th or 19th that he was. And this is something that's positive for me in terms of that trajectory.
Jethro Cardone, show Bridges video. No, but thank you. But no, but thank you. I don't recognize a bunch of these dudes' names. Obviously Will Morad's been around forever. Let me ask you about Scott Tetlow. I thought last year was his last year. I thought last year we had him on, or we spoke to him, and he's like, yeah, I spoke to my wife and my family, and last year, this is my last year. I'm putting my shit together and going for it.
At this point, every CrossFitter is grouped into the same category for me. As I'm not buying it. No one's retiring.
Okay, fine. I get it.
Yeah, and Howell's the one that Sevan had the cool exchange after the Jackie workout at the semifinal. Howell's the guy that they had that pleasantry exchange after the workout was over. He and Tetlow.
Oh, no shit. Okay, yeah. Good. Wow. And they both made the impressive performance list. Crazy.
And some of these, there's obviously a lot of people that did better than Hal, a few hundred or whatever it was, 100 people. But Justin Rhodes, those are some guys that I'm looking at this year to see what they can do. And so I'm just taking note and just kind of putting them on people's radar here in case they end up doing something special at semifinals.
This is Cody Wilson. Josh got 190. Yeah, so did Charles Curran. No, great job. Josh is coming back on. We already got him rescheduled. We'll show the video then. We have time for that shit now, but thank you.
All right, next list.
Wait, hold on. Katie Gannon, we got to do just we got to be nice to some of the people. This is required kindness to Katie. Victor, so happy to see him back there. Mr. Schweitzer. Hal Fisher puked on an air runner right beside me at regionals when I was judging. Wow. I think I saw that too. And you just remember we played that and you just see the puke just go in the runner, just get cycled into the runner. That was awesome. Thank you. That was a better contribution than Katie's. Good job, Scott. Chase Ingram. He also didn't do the lift. Wow. Oh, who? Bridges. Yeah, fair. Yeah, and he told us, I think, ahead of time that he wasn't going to do that. Claire, I'd like to introduce you to one of our most prestigious listeners, Jenna Tulls.
Hello, Jenna.
Yeah, Jenna Tulls. You. Yeah, everyone does. Everyone loves Jenna Tulls. All right. Okay. Impressive performance. Where do we go from here? 23.2 B, unimpressive women.
Nah, we maybe can skip the unimpressive lifts.
Really? Come on. I didn't mean to give you a complex. Let's do it.
I was saying more so from a time perspective.
No, we'll go through this fast. I don't see I don't even see okay, let's do unimpressive performances by women, 23.2. Wow, Alexis Raptis. Was she on the list last week? Is something wrong with her? Is she okay? I want her to do good.
Just kind of three different groups of women here at the top. Those are, games athletes from last season. Not necessarily terrible lifts, but not as, I would expect them to all be closer to the 200-pound mark, a 195 to 205 range. But it's really important to note here that because of the time constraint, it's very possible that all of these women had 10 to 20 more pounds on the bar and were this far away from completing the last lift and didn't get it. And then they were just having to accept this score. That happened to, not just elite athletes, but a lot of people on this style of workout. And is another reason why I think it's kind of a weird one to have with so many athletes participating in the same division.
Claire, what do you think? Do you know what Bethany Shadburn finished? Do you have her number? Does anyone know? When I see a number that I think maybe I could have done in my 30s, I get concerned for the athlete. Like,
right.
That something's wrong, right? 157. That's like,
it's a surprise.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
That's really low, right, JR?
Yeah, I mean, it's lower than I would expect, but again, she's been someone that's had to come back from multiple injuries, so maybe she's just getting back under a barbell these days.
Patrick Clark, 3 of those athletes train out of CrossFit Oslo.
Sahar Kaya, Matilda Garns, and Leah Storin.
Interesting. I like your. Any other concerns about Alexis Raptis? I mean, this is a top 10 in the world games athlete, right?
Yeah, could be for sure. I mean, she was last year.
Crazy. Okay. And what about Bethany? Do we know anything about her? Is she going to go for it this year? Where's she training? Who's her coach? Is she still with the Las Vegas guy, Mr. Kotler?
No.
I think Raptis, Hiller, and Shadburn are all TTT now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I'd seen that. Okay. And someone I think said in here she might go teams. Okay. Well, that's Molly. Great question. But if she's over at Training Think Tank, I'd have to say yes. She's definitely trying to go to the games.
And we did see Ellie on the impressive list.
Listen. Sorry. Go ahead, JR. I'll handle this guy in a minute. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Claire. You go ahead.
All I was going to say is Bethany made a post specifically about this workout. But anyway, go ahead.
Dude, I've done my go-to in a pinch was a fucking 30 clean and jerks with 155 pounds. So you pipe down over there.
JR,
Claire,
what were you going to say?
No, Claire, what did she say in her post?
Looks like I just kind of skipped down to the bottom where she's talking about the lift. I was unable to finish the round of 30 burpees and hit 4 shuttle runs and hit 157 on a thruster. May not seem like a whole lot to some, but this is more than just numbers for me, and I'm so proud. So maybe I should go ahead and go back up and read the first part before we get there.
Oh, was she wounded or something?
Yeah, rehabbing her back.
Rehabbing her back. Okay.
Yep.
Advocating for myself in the gym? What the fuck does that mean? How do you advocate for yourself in the gym? Like, hey, I'm using the bench press. Get away.
I'm sure there are a lot of these words mean a lot more to her than most of us probably know.
Yeah, and it could be that like she genuinely is like feeling good while she moves. Maybe, I mean, who knows? But I know she's had a lot of injury issues in the past, so maybe like prioritizing like if I'm not feeling healthy, maybe I'm not doing the thing. I don't know. I certainly have not spoken to her, but maybe that's what these words are speaking to.
Jay, what do you think about that grip she's choosing to use there?
I actually heard about a lot of people using that supinated grip. More so the mixed grip, though. I heard was a really effective grip.
That's a
one
over,
one under. Yeah.
Dude, you know who she looks like in this? I cannot even believe I've never noticed before. Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot.
Her a little bit.
Do you guys know who that is?
Wonder Woman.
Is it Gadot or is it Gadot?
I mean, I wouldn't have known her by name, but the other day her face popped up in my search, and she got a huge head, and she's hot as shit.
You know what? Put her on the impressive list.
Bethany Shadburn has a huge head. I never this chick right here.
Yeah, she does kind of.
That's impressive.
Crazy. Wow. All right, Bethany, you go. Godot. How's a guy named Hugh? I'd like you to meet someone else, Claire. I'd like you to meet my friend Hugh Asshole. Please say hi to you. Hugh, how the fuck are you correcting us on names?
Seems like there's a lot of history here.
Oh, these are all my friends. No, just a huge head. The whole head is huge. It's not just the forehead. The entire head. It's a beautiful giant head. Bigger the head, the more beautiful the woman. It's a correlate. Okay, unimpressive performances by men, 23.2. Hey, so do you want to take her off the list after reading that with the emotional kind of appeal, Brian, from Shadburn's post?
I have no emotions.
Okay, fine. Unimpressive performances, but God, that must have broke your heart. Lazar Jukic, Yanikoski, Cole Grieshaber, big man. Saxon Panchik, always got the Panchiks. This show just hates on the Panchiks now. Noah Olson, Justin Medeiros, the champ. What?
I actually wanted to point out the Panchiks. I know they're showing up on the unimpressive list. I'm not actually worried about them at all. I actually think this might be in their best interest. And that what JR was talking about earlier is that if they're on a strength cycle and they're not really focusing too much about metabolic conditioning right now, that is totally fine, especially for Saxon, because he's, it's possible that he's peaked at the games with like 5th or 6th place. And if he's not willing to accept that, then he needs to do something differently. And maybe instead of, he is historically one of the best open athletes that we've ever seen. I do these metrics. They're not very scientific. They're just me looking at the leaderboard and assigning certain parameters to things. He's amongst the open elite historically. He is one of the best of the best. Of the last 2 years, there's only 3 men that made my list, and he's one of those 3 along with Jeff Adler and Rich Froning. So the fact that he's on these lists is just because he's not performing relative to what we're used to in the open. But if that translates to him being better at the games, then it was all worth it.
Do you think this is harsh, JR? What I'm quanted 280 and he gets put on an unimpressive list?
I think there's a lot of dudes on here that are some of the strongest guys in the sport. And I think Brian even knows that too, that it's just might be one of those, hey, let's just hit a good number. Let's move well. And let's not worry about 20 more pounds just to risk something silly.
Pretty much everyone from Medeiros down on this list can probably qualify for that.
Did you see this? Our very own Tyler Watkins thrustered 316.
That's not who you think it is.
Oh, that's another Tyler Watkins?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the guy that I'm pretty sure that's probably the one that was on Rhapsody's team.
Oh, all right. Tyler, I'm putting you back in the dork category. Sorry. Hey, how come all of these don't have video submissions by them? I don't get it. Like, so I'm looking at Graciano Rubio, and he's 375, and shouldn't there be a video submission?
They're not required to submit a video. If CrossFit asks for a video, you have to supply one. But you don't. Okay. But if they ask for it and you supply it, you don't have to upload it to your games profile to be available on a leaderboard there. Anyone who's doing that is doing it for one of 2 reasons: either because they want to, or because they're doing it at a place that's not affiliate in good standing.
Oh, okay. Okay. Bjorkvin Carl Goodmanson, 276.
Yeah.
I understand Luis Oscar Mora, the strong kid out of Mexico.
Yeah. Maybe the most surprising on here. I would just think that he could probably do 300 pounds. I would have thought he could just do 300 pounds on any given day, just knowing how strong he is in general. But
Jukic brothers, not known for being strong, and yet you got Lazar on here.
Mm-hmm. His younger brother did better than him on this.
No shit. Man, something's wrong with Lazar.
We'll see.
All right, fine. Okay, fine.
The thing is that all these lists are like in the thousands.
Mm-hmm.
So they look really bad. But
at least Vellner
is not necessarily that bad. I could have put Vellner on this list. The thing is that I wasn't expecting Vellner to do great on this list. Some of these guys I was expecting to do, probably 10 to 20 pounds better than this.
This is a David Laughinghouse. They are scared of Hiller. That's why there's no video. That's what he's. Okay. Unimpressive men. We'll put you to rest. We're not even going to. Oh my God, we're an hour and a half in. Impressive. Are we going? Did we do impressive women yet?
You're supposed to be keeping track of the paperwork.
Okay, I am. Impressive performances by women, 23.2B. Emma McQuaid, Jessica Andrazik, Carolyn Stanley, Chelsea Nicholas, Sydney Smith, Valentina Rangel, and Mia Hesketh. I don't fucking know any of these people.
Well,
I know one. I know one.
There's some pretty incredible stories on here. Chelsea Nicholas is 35 years old. She put 222 pounds, which is better than Gabby McGowan, Laura Horvath. I was really, really impressed with that. Valentina Rangel competed in Dubai and blew her back out, like slipped the disc in her back. I cannot believe that she's back in lifting this well a couple months later, but she is. And Mia Hesketh, if you haven't seen on her Instagram, she thought she was done with PRs in CrossFit, and she hit a lifetime PR on a thruster during this workout and was ecstatic about it. So
why? How old is she?
Mia?
Yeah.
In her 30s, I think.
It's interesting. Emma McQuaid, where was she that she let us down? That's not fair. That's not the right wording. Where we were surprised she did
have her on the unimpressive list last week. I thought that 23.1 would be a workout that we would see top 10, top 20 worldwide from someone like her. She was well outside of that, but she did have a phenomenal lift this week. So wanted to make sure to give her credit for that too.
And Emma didn't have a stellar performance at Wadapalooza either, right?
Who's Emma?
Yeah, Emma McQuaid.
She did not. I don't think she could.
Just the team,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
she won Wadapalooza the year before that.
Right, and that's why I was thinking, okay, I just remember the last couple of things that we've seen of her. I was surprised she didn't do better. Who was on her team at Wadapalooza? Do you remember? It's okay. It's okay.
It's a good team. It was the Go Wad team. Jacqueline Dahlstrom and Sola Sigurdardottir, I think.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Oh, Barry's asking why Kelsey Keel, Christine Middleton, Danny Spiegel, Amanda Barnhart are on this list because they did what I expected them to do. Very impressive, but not necessarily surprising.
Impressive performances by the men. Oh, okay. I know some of these dudes. 23.2. Tyler Christophal, Anol Akai. It's interesting that you put him on here with the 291. It's interesting that dudes made it on here with less than 300 pounds. William Leahy the fourth. You're big on him. You're big on Bill, right? You're kind of high on that dude right now.
So a couple different things going on here. I would say of all of these lists, the one I'm most impressed by is Tyler Christophel at the bottom. I don't know why I didn't sort him up to be second from the top here, but he's kind of known for not having great overhead strength. It let him down last year at the semifinals, prevented him from making the games. So really impressive lift for him there. And then, there's like the guys that are below 300 that are on this list are guys that you would not expect to be doing. Like if I told you that Norman Woodring beat Branislav Alenkovic on a 1 rep max thruster, like you would say, no way in hell. Like it's never going to happen. And he beat him by like 20 pounds. So that's why they're getting on this list.
God, that's a great name. Woodring. Jason Hopper, 305. Is he getting stronger? Is he getting stronger, JR?
Yeah, he's getting stronger everywhere. He went for 320 and missed, but it was really, really, really close miss. So it was a pretty big jump.
Tim Paulson, big guy, short arm.
And that probably happened to almost everyone, where they made a 10 to 20 pound jump at the end and barely missed it. It's either that or you barely hit it. And so we don't necessarily know where these guys fall. Like the difference between that 20 pounds from Woodring and Branislav, maybe Braun went from 276 to 316 and missed it by a centimeter, and Woodring PR'd his thruster, and his previous lift was 273. And if just those things had happened to go the opposite way, Braun would be at 316 and Norman would be at 273. Like we don't know.
Tim Paulson, big dude, short arms, right?
Mm-hmm. Still a great lift. And like I said, Aniol, Bill Leahy, wouldn't necessarily peg them as being super strong.
I wouldn't peg him regardless.
Strong.
Okay.
And that team looks strong right now because we'll probably see Tola on the impressive on both.
That's right.
Before we go to impressive both. Oh no, shit. Okay, we did unimpressive 23. Okay, we got those guys unimpressive. Before we go to impressive on both, I want to go through the men's divisions from 14 years old to 65 years old minus the individual. It's 23.2A and 23.2B. Interesting. Impossible to say for 35 to 39. Why is that? Why do you have impossible to say?
Because there was like, when I checked earlier this afternoon, there were like almost up to 10 scores at the top of the leaderboard that I had no idea which ones were valid or not. It was just crazy.
Okay.
I'm willing to bet that they're better now because they've made a lot of changes since I sent you those things 5 hours ago, but it was just indecipherable basically.
I'm just going to go take a quick peek. Not that I want to spend time on it, but I'm just curious if it's men 35 to 39.
Hey, Scott Tetlow's in purple here because I knew that there were several scores on the leaderboard ahead of him that were invalid. Now those scores have all been removed, and he's where he should be, which is in first place.
Hey, so the leaderboard automatically puts people in if they're in both categories. If they're okay.
Everyone that's in gray on this is all of their workout standards are the same. So they will all be in both the open division and their specific age division when applicable.
Okay, and these are the winners.
Those are the top scores when I checked at 4:00 this afternoon.
Anyone in particular you want to talk about? Any games champs on here? Previous game champs?
Got a Russian guy there in 60 to 64 for you, Igor.
Yeah, Igor.
No, I mean Giannis Papadopoulos. People probably recognize him, but a lot of new names here. So I just this is an opportunity for some people to make a move, and always in the age group divisions, there's new people entering the scene. So,
okay, let's look at the women. 23.2A, 23.2B, 14 years old to 65 years old. I recognize that name, Elizabeth Ramsey. Did she win last year?
I don't know.
Okay, you have so Kerstetter 1B. Oh, and we'll find out. Does she win both?
What do you mean?
Does she, so? Isn't there a Oh no. Okay, sorry. I got confused by the pages.
Right,
okay,
right.
they're scored separately. Okay.
Yeah, and there's a lot of well-known names on this list. I mean, Kelly Friel is incredible. Susan Clark, back in the mix. She's undefeated at the CrossFit Games. We'll see if she goes for another title this year.
Oh wow. How many games has she been to?
I think she's 5 for 5. It's either 4 for 4 or 5 for 5. She's never lost.
Vilma Diaz is going to give her a run for her money. I wonder what the max thruster is for those chicks. What?
I think that was one where Vilma's lift was like 130 and the next one was like 100. And that's why I put it in red.
What is that? Women 60 to 64? Dude, 185 pounds?
What's the next one after that?
You're telling me a 60-year-old woman thruster? 147.
Yeah, so that's why I put it in red. That's a great example. 147, 145, 142. Fairly believable. 185, massive outlier. Could be true. I would want to check the video.
Okay, and so another thing is
there.
You're telling me a 60-year-old woman got 10 pounds less than fucking Bethany Shadburn?
No, she got 30 pounds more.
No, sorry, for second place, 147.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, something's not right.
But that woman, if the woman who's in second place, if you look at her other scores, she's clearly one of the best in the division. Mm-hmm. So it's, and it's not that unbelievable relative to the scores right below her.
David Hippensteel got 192 pounds, second place, 65 plus men.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if when Hiller goes to heaven, if God's gonna be like, dude, you were picking on an old dude. You're all juiced up and you're picking on an old dude. It's fucked up.
They're gonna have a little sit chat at the gate.
Yeah, get back down there. And God's gonna be old as shit, all wrinkly, wearing a diaper. I want to look at the women 65 plus too. I'm curious what the max. How do I find that? I just see women 65 plus. JR.
Yes, sir.
Max thruster for 65 plus year old woman. Holy shit.
For 65 plus?
Yeah, I don't even know if I can do this with the current status of my back.
167.
137. You're telling me that lady did 20 pounds less than Bethany Shadburn?
She got her nutrition on point. I don't know what to tell you.
Who, the old lady?
Yep.
God damn.
She's sleeping 12 hours a night.
I'll do a cup check on her. Holy cow. Oh, yeah.
Solid
my
photo.
God.
Solid photo.
Those are twice the size of Dave Castro's calves. My God. Okay. Impressive performances. Let's start with the boys. These are the guys that Brian really likes. He thinks they gave it their all, and they believe the open means something. How are you doing for time? What's your name? You guys know who I'm talking about, Mr. Howell.
Are you serious?
Yeah, how are you doing for time?
45 minutes ago, I was out of time, but now
okay.
yeah. Good.
Well, because I need to ask you, we need to get at least some predictions for you. Okay, we'll go through this fast. Jeffrey Adler, 181, 312. Tola Morikino. Why is Tola on here? Big guy who got a 175. You like that?
Phenomenal, and one of the top 5 or 10 lifts in the world. I mean, this, like JR was saying, this is one of the standout performances of the Open this year, regardless of what happens next week. When I was in Nashville, he was there and he was running the entire time.
Yeah, okay, I agree. Big dude, giant dude. What about who's this guy in red, Darren?
Well, he's, his scores may not be as great as everyone else on this list, but he's from Africa, and those are still pretty impressive scores. They rank very highly in Africa, and I think he's a relatively unknown name that could potentially challenge for the game spot this year. So I wanted to acknowledge that.
And who knows, maybe Africa will get an extra spot.
No, actually, we do know about that.
So wait, on the impressive, Tyler Christophel's in 4th overall right now, I think. And he's not on this list.
Yeah, get him.
Well, is that because he landed on the B list? So he got his spot?
What was his score on the middle workout?
61st.
No, 267th on the running. 172 reps. Yeah, no, I was pretty selective for this list. There's certainly other people that could have been on it.
Gotcha.
I like that though. Yeah, get him.
Do that. Sevan likes that a lot.
Yeah,
I just think it's impressive. I mean, for him to be, obviously, it's just 3 tests, right? But like, still, and that lift was bonkers.
And he's a big dude, right?
I think he said he's like 195.
Tola got 11th with that 327. Hey, did any of these ties cause any problems? Oh, okay. And Tyler got 27th. Sorry if you just said that.
No, I mean, we just, I think Halpin told us today that there were, 3,000 to 5,000 people at every number for like 50 numbers in a row on 23.2A.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's just a decision that CrossFit, like that was obvious that was going to happen. So they just obviously were okay with it.
If they put me like at 32nd thousandth, but there was a dude who got the same score to me who was at 27,000th, I would tell everyone I was 27,000th, fittest in the world. I wouldn't accept being 5,000 places lower if I got the same score as some dude.
If you did 1 rep worse, but yes.
Even if I did the same reps. Jack Farlow, 317 pounds. You know who Jack Farlow is, Claire?
Yeah, Emma's boyfriend.
Yeah.
She watched him at Rogue.
Emma's boyfriend.
Right?
Yeah. I like
Emma. Yeah, she's
I like
sweet.
Emma too. I like Jack. We got to have Jack, Emma's boyfriend, Farlow on again.
You have to say Emma Lawson, though. There's too many Emmas that are
sorry.
CrossFit.
Yeah.
Colton Merton's currently in 3rd place in the Worldwide Open.
Yeah, he's killing it.
Now you fucking know. Okay. Impressive.
How does it make you feel, Sevan? Like, do you like that?
It.
For little guys?
Fucking love Colton. Yeah.
Okay.
I love Colton.
And it's actually pretty cool. The thing that we talked about, the potential for these workouts to be a little bit favorable for a certain athlete or another. But if you look at the men on their own in the top 5 in the world, you have Jeff Adler, who I would say is basically like prototype games athlete body type. Tola Morikino, bigger guy. Colton Mertens, smaller guy. Tyler Christopher, pretty average size for a games athlete. And Reggie Fossa, short, but weighs about what you'd expect. And a pretty good blend of body types and strengths and weaknesses historically there. So,
and a Jew in 6th place, Roldan Goldbaum,
a Mexican Jew.
Yeah, that's awesome. Holy shit! If
that's more of the list we
him on the show.
Luis Oscar Mora. These guys are they're so strong. I figured they both have a lift like this.
God, that's awesome.
Cam Crockett, showed up. I put him on my list there because he's another one of these guys that if he just tightens up a few things, he could become relevant in the extremely competitive North American field.
It's a good list. Okay. Now we switch over to impressive women. Man, Claire, is Mal O'Brien going to win the games this year and then be the games champ for the next 5 years?
Too early to say.
Those are two separate questions.
Oh man, she's like you, Brian. She plays it safe. JR, is Mal O'Brien going to win the games this year and then win for the next 5 years?
I think she's gonna win the games this year. When Tia comes back, we'll see.
Really?
Really, I think she's gonna win the games this year. Yes.
Yeah, I get that, but you think Tia's going to have something for her when she comes back? I think Mal's about to go into the stratosphere, dude. I think we never thought that there would be another Rich Froning, and then we got Matt Fraser, and then we thought there'd never be another Matt Fraser, and we have Tia. And I just think that I think this chick Mal is just a freak of nature. Outside of injury, I think. Well, I guess that's a problem too. Jacqueline has a good point. We have no idea where Emma Lawson's going to land. That thing's still moving to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
God, the women's division is so great.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, Gazan, like look how she's performed, you know, like this, at least this year so far. Like, I mean, she's done really, really well.
Paige Powers, Brian, anything you want to say? Kelly Baker, impressive performances, women both.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a name I don't hear very often anymore.
no, she hasn't really been competing, but she's making a push to get back into the mix this year, and so far she's looking really good.
A team or individual?
Individual.
Ellie Turner, you like her?
I thought this was a great performance for Ellie. Again, like not someone that I would thought would get 168 reps on part one.
Right.
Lift is about what I'd expected, but the combination is very impressive to me.
Yo, that girl can run. I'm telling you.
And like, you know, we're listing off all these names. Like the women's division is coming. Like you know, I think of someone like Amanda Barnhart, perennially in the top 10, 8th to 10th, almost every year. It's like, that is going to be, even with Tia out, Cara out, Haley out, Christy out this year, there's just a wave of women coming behind that are legitimately good, talented, and threatening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ellie's a freak. I think she's so underestimated. She's awesome. Elisa Fuliano, she's the one that had the Alzheimer's, as I tap my head. The fuck's that thing that when it gets in your joints, it fucks your joints up?
All right.
Arthritis. I knew it was an A word. I thought she had arthritis and really bad, and she was a one and done last year.
I mean, I kind of thought the same, but she was impressing me at Wadapalooza. She's been impressive to me here in the Open, and there are going to be good women that don't make the games in Europe, but she's going to be in the mix from everything that I've seen.
Anything you want to throw in here, Mr. JR?
Yeah, I'm just really pulling for Shelby Neal after barely missing out last year. She's another crucible competitor. Her and Ellie Hill are both, so it's good to see Shelby's back at it.
JR giving some love for the athletes that compete at the Crash Crucible.
Yeah, and I wanted to get her on there because, just in case there's people that aren't aware of how good she was, except for one workout last year, she is legitimately talented and could make the games. Laura Clifton is the other woman from Australia that I was talking about being a threat in Oceania earlier in the show. She made the games 2 years ago ahead of Maddie Sturt. She's coming back after competing team last year, I think, and will be a threat to get one of those 3 spots. And then the bottom 2 women in gray, their numbers are not as good as everyone else's, but they're competing in Asia. Dawan Zhang trains with Sungyoung Choi, and none of the Russian women competed last year in South Korea. I don't know if they will this year or not, but if they do, Svetlana Veselova is one of a couple Russian women that also could potentially qualify for the games this year because they're guaranteed 2 spots.
Oh, that's cool. I hope they both make it. They have great names, Svetlana and Dawan Jung.
Hmm.
All right. No mention of Mal O'Brien. No mention of Danielle Brandon this week.
27th.
That's where she sits overall, 27th.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I think so.
That sounds right.
I'm sorry.
No, don't
She's
be
doing
sorry.
fine. Nothing.
Yeah.
nothing
I was going to say,
flashy.
I just don't think there was anything like shocking. I had a question. I just genuinely don't know. Barnhart, I know she moved camps, right? And does she usually do really well in the Open?
We can check real quick, but yeah, she's pretty much does well on everything. 20th, 24th, 9th, 27th, the last 5 years.
Okay.
Oh, so last year was her best year, 9th?
I think that was 4 years ago in the Open.
Oh, but that was did you what? How did she finish in the Open? I thought that's what Claire was asking. How did she finish in the Open? And I thought you said the last year she finished 9th in the Open. That was her best year
The
ever.
last 5 years, she's been 20th, 24th, 9th, and 27th. So 2019 was her best. She's currently sitting in 10th. Like I just mentioned, she is one of the top 12 women in the world over the last 3 to 4 years. According to pretty much everyone. And she'll be in that mix again this year. She's doing great.
I really want to drive this home here, guys. You're looking at the ranking right here up on the screen here. Mal O'Brien, Paige Powers, Emma Lawson, Alex Kazan, Ariel Lowen. Kudos to you, girl. Zoe Warren, Oyana Moya. This is first through seventh. There's only one person up here who has a first place, and there's only one person up here who has a second place. And that person also has 107th, and that 107th makes perfect sense, and it fucking doesn't matter, as Andrew Hiller would say. It doesn't fucking matter. This is an unstoppable force.
Well,
this is
last year's just add to your arsenal here, Sevan.
Yeah,
last year on the Open workout, she was first, second, and first worldwide.
Yeah.
And in the year before that, which was her first eligible year, she also had finishes of second and fourth on 2 of the 4 Open workouts. So now she's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 top 4 finishes in the last 3 years at the Open.
Jackie Miley, I feel like there is sexual tension between Danielle Brandon and Mal O'Brien. You feel it? You feel it? You feel it? That 107th is her worst finish in the Open since 21.4. Yeah, it does. And right, Patrick, doesn't even matter, right? It's like, who gives a fuck? It's a strength workout. It's just whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, she top 1,000 in that, and we're good to go. Yeah, go Paige Powers. I completely agree. Huge fan. Awesome. Gazan, it's going to be awesome. All right. Next week, JR is about to tell us what the workout is going to be next week. Everyone get your pens and pencils out.
Yeah, I wish I was going to be able to do that. I felt pretty confident with what I thought would not be coming and what I thought would be coming. But after seeing the .com workout for tomorrow, I'm now really rethinking the idea that we're going to get a lot of dumbbell work on Friday. I kind of thought that the movements that traditionally we've seen that I couldn't see being left out would be dumbbell, jump rope, and some sort of handstand movement. And we got a lot of dumbbell reps here. Traditionally, we don't see a lot of repeat movements in the same week programmed on .com that shows up for the Open. But this year's a different year, and maybe that's just something that they're doing to throw us off. And while we won't be repeating any of these movements, we may still be using dumbbells. Kettlebells are still on the table, so I haven't completely dismissed those, but I was pretty confident and still am pretty confident in those 3 movements. If we don't have a jump rope, I think we'll be using the plyo box.
I don't understand, JR. Sorry. Help me out here, dude. So you see this workout and you think these movements are going to be in the Open, or they're not going to be in the Open?
I don't think they're going to be in the Open, and I would even go as far as to say that I'm more hesitant to think we're going to get a lot of dumbbell use, period, after having a workout with 80 dumbbell reps in it the same week.
Okay. What were you thinking it was going to be, just out of curiosity, before you saw this?
Maybe like a progression of dumbbell shoulder to overhead with handstand push-ups and double unders, and then maybe double dumbbell ground to overhead with like wall walks and single unders, something like that, some kind of progression.
Okay. Let me ask you some things here. The double under, are we going to see it on Thursday?
I think so.
Okay. Claire, double under?
I mean, we see it a lot. I'm more curious about time domain. I don't know. I mean,
okay.
I think it's going to be less than 10. Whether it's a back-to-back with a mandatory rest or whatever, I think it's going to be 10 minutes or less.
Brian, any thoughts on it?
I agree that I think it'll be probably a 10-minute time cap with the best in the world finishing, 4 to 6 minutes. We get one of those most years. We haven't had anything in that time domain yet. We have had double unders every single year. I mean, JR and I were basically on the same page. The thing is that, last week we had in the .com programming leading up to the Open. There were a lot of push-ups, there was a lot of running, and then we got burpees and running. So I'm wondering if that trend is no longer going to be any kind of insight to the Open workout anymore.
What about a handstand hold in a box?
A
Or a
freestanding
part A?
handstand hold?
For a part A and a part B, yeah.
What's the scale for that? The 40 by 24 and hold it against the wall as long as you can.
I don't know. I don't know.
You have to think about those things.
Okay. Have they ever done a handstand hold in the Open?
No, just in stage 1 of the games, 2020.
Steven Denbraver, dumbbell snatches, double unders, overhead walking lunges, and handstand walking. Danielle Brandon and Mal O'Brien are the best on their hands, and they're in the Open announcement. It's going to be an Earn Your Fitness programming. They're both in the Open announcement. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yep. I think that would be really cool if they did a gated style where like everyone had 6 minutes to work. And if you were fit enough, you could work for 9. If you're fit enough, you could work for 12. If you're fit enough, you could work for 15. I'm a little hesitant to think they're going to use the floor space again. I think using it for shuttle runs was great. They said you were going to need floor space. I found it improbable that they were just going to skip it all together and wait to use it for quarterfinals when gyms want to make sure that logistically they can have setups for their members. But I don't think lunges or handstand walks will come out after doing shuttle runs the second week.
It's a bit of a setup if they know it's going to be on your hands and they bring Danielle Brandon in, right? I mean, it's really, I mean, she's kind of on an island by herself there, isn't she?
I thought Mal O'Brien was.
I would say as far as being
great comeback,
goes,
yeah.
Like I would say it's Alexis Raptis, Danielle Brandon, Mal O'Brien. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I don't think Adrian's putting much thought into who's competing there. From what I've seen so far, I don't think he's putting too much thought into whether the affiliates can accommodate it or not. The equipment list is out there, and floor space is included. All the things that are included is expected to be had if you want to participate. I think he's programming these workouts just with his own thoughts about what is going to be a great start to the season. He probably knows about what's coming ahead of time, and I don't think he's considering all of those things necessarily that we're used to seeing. It, we've had an opening workout in week 1 that was more high skill than we've ever had before. We had this workout in week 2 that we usually would see in week 1. Who knows what? I mean, I think it's actually great on his behalf that he's making it more unpredictable and harder for JR.
For sure.
Okay. JR, give us a final recap on what you think this thing's going to be. No pressure.
Yeah, I'll just stick to the instincts I had going into it before I saw the .com workout or anything like that. I think it's going to be a dumbbell workout with a progression. So like a easier dumbbell movement into a harder dumbbell movement with jumping rope. I said early on, I thought we would do single unders in the Open, so I'll stick to that. I think singles will be in the Open and then double unders will be the progression. And then I think there'll be some sort of handstand progression, probably wall walk to handstand push-up, or maybe vice versa.
What do you think? You think JR's pretty smart, Claire?
When it comes to this sort of stuff, certainly more so than me.
Yeah, he is smart. He's a sharp cookie. Anything else? Any closing remarks, Brian?
No, I think it was nice to feature a lot of the athletes this week, and excited for the final week of the Open.
Look at JR's kind of like sliding under the table.
No, and a triplet makes sense. Chipper week 1, classic couplet week 2, chipper week 3, triplet week 3 makes sense.
I like what JR's thinking. I feel like it might be some kind of ascending rep scheme, fairly quick. Like a 9, 15, 21, maybe like dumbbell snatch per arm, handstand push-ups, and box jump overs or something like that.
Caller, hi.
Hey.
Hey. You know who did that? Does anyone know who did that? Hey. Claire? Fonzie, thank you. Hey, what's up, dude? What's up?
Claire, love
Fonzie?
your new show.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate
I don't know
it.
if you need those other 3 guys.
Yeah, me neither.
But,
Fuck these guys. All right. Well, I appreciate you calling. It's callers like you that make the show make me feel.
Wait. I'm really calling. I need to know an answer.
I'm straight, except for Saturdays and Sundays. I'm open.
Perfect.
Okay.
No, here's the question: if Roman beats Justin this year, who would you pick the next year? And if Roman beat Justin 2 years in a row, who would you pick the next year? And if Roman beat Justin 3 years in a row, who would you pick the next year?
I actually like the question. I get it. I feel you.
He's counting out Ricky, huh?
Literally all together and didn't come up once.
Yeah, I like it. He only one. If he wins one, it's only one.
Well,
and then Justin has to fucking get rid of Ellie and go back to working out.
Right.
I said it here first.
But right. But here's the question for Brian. Brian, how many times in a row will Jeffrey Adler have to beat Vellner before you will choose Adler over Vellner?
Another great question.
Well, this year they're competing in different semifinals, so it'll be a little different than last year. But I had them ranked one spot apart on my power rankings prior to the Open, and because there's been so many changes already with people withdrawing from the competition, and I think we actually have learned quite a bit from this year's Open, I think I might put out another list pretty soon. So we'll see.
Good. Those shows get me a lot of money. I mean, viewers. I enjoy those shows. Thank you. Claire, do you have a question for Claire or JR also? Anything?
I just think JR's strategy of not saying too much is a great way to keep one from looking foolish. I've blown that already. Have a good night, guys.
Later, dude. Thanks for calling. Oh,
he's
man.
on to me.
We don't even say that again, JR?
He's on to me.
Yeah. Claire, do you have any final remarks?
Other than, I was just curious what the thoughts were on the time domain. Nope.
Good having you on. I think you probably spoke about the same amount as JR did on the first show he was on.
Way more.
And you think she did way more?
In a good way.
All right. We'd love to have you back.
I'm just here to add diversity, guys.
Thank you.
I'm here for you.
I appreciate it. Who's that looking in your window back there?
Are we talking about right over here?
Yeah, in those your sliding glass doors. Someone's standing there.
Creepy. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Who's the blonde 4-year-old in your background?
Who? Oh, that's Avi.
People have. Oh, okay. I think I have heard you.
Dude,
wait,
that's Avi.
do we need to now go to every? Wait, what's going on behind Brian?
Is that blonde hair though, or is that just the background?
No, that's blonde hair. He had blonde hair.
That is crazy. His hair was that blonde.
Yeah, crazy, right? That's what we did to JR when he first came on. He sat in front of it. When he first came on the show, he sat in front of a window. So we would say, "Hey, JR, who's behind you?" And since then, he didn't sit over there anymore. He didn't like that game. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Tomorrow morning, 7 a.m., Jason Khalipa will be on at 7 a.m. And that's cool. All right. Bye-bye.